Coast to Coast Sports Nation. Let's ride. 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 All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Coast to Coast Sports. As you can tell, I did my Russell Wilson Broncos country, Let's Ride, impersonation, mainly because NFL's back. Pretty much.
Yeah, we're there. We're
there. This is the last week. They start Thursday, right?
Football
Rams, someone?
Rams and it's the Rams on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah,
I forget who they're playing.
I can't remember who they're playing either, but college football was back last weekend. Technically, kind of. Little taste, nothing too great.
Tomorrow,
a lot of low-level ones.
Tomorrow's the real first day of college football.
We got the Boilermakers, and we got Penn State kicking it off, right? 8 p.m. kickoff. Do you like the Nittany Lions? Do you like the Boilermakers? We'll talk a little bit about that. But before we get into the show, and before we get anything going, I am your host, Harrison Van Tilburg. To the left of me, as always, John Witt. And behind the scenes, looking cute as ever, Ryan Smith. John, you got anything to say to people before we get started?
I mean, football's back, folks.
Football is back. Yeah. Is it underwhelming to say that football is back? Because I think it's back. I think we're there.
One more sleep.
One more sleep?
Yeah.
One more sleep. Ryan, you got anything to say to people before we let him go?
I think it's unacceptable.
Don't say it. Don't fucking say it, Ryan.
My part, especially.
Okay.
And your part.
What? You're back in.
That my father, who is 65 years old.
Oh, here we go.
This fucking guy.
Won the long drive competition at our outing that we played on Sunday.
Hey, yeah. First of all, don't blame me. I never claimed to drive the ball long and hard. Okay, I hit the ball decently far. So don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. All right, don't you put that on me. But other than that, all I gotta say is you're looking at the 2022 Reedy Golf Outing Champion. Right here in the flesh, boys and girls. 12 under, and we won. Not the greatest score, not the best score, but it was a score that got it done. So that's all that matters. And you mind if I do the quote this week?
Oh, go right ahead.
You mind if I do this quote? A wise man once said, football is all the way back. Do you know what wise man said that?
I would assume there's many people that have said that.
Many people have said that, but there's one in particular that is on this show, and he's currently sitting to the left of me. I'm quoting John Witt this week, guys.
I did say that, yeah.
John said when he walked in my house today, college football is all the way back, and it will be tomorrow, first game, Purdue, Penn State, kicking us off, and it'll be a great game.
Well,
So
West Virginia Pitt will play at 7 to their 8.
To their 8,
so
but
really
there's a time zone.
Yeah.
The time zones, you can't count that.
I think it's the same time zone.
It might be. It's at Purdue, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the games, the times that we just gave you is our time zone.
Okay,
it's
that's
Eastern
fine.
time.
Whatever, fine, same thing, whatever. But just to give you kind of an outline of what we're going to be talking about today, let's get right into it. College football preview. John's going to be leading the discussion on that. NFL top 10 players have been released by the players, so it's voted on by the players, by their peers, everybody else that said, hey, I think John's the best running back in all of, NFL, and so did a bunch of people. So John cranks number 1. It's not just some writers sitting in a room talking to themselves or, however those votes typically happen. It's not like that. These are voted on by other players in the league and I believe by everybody in the league.
I think so.
Gets a vote if you're on like that 53-man roster or something like that. They get a vote, and that's kind of important. So they're voted on by their peers. They're going to have some more baseball talk, talking about like kind of what's going on, some MVP talk here a little bit, some Team USA, and then something that always kind of warms your heart is kind of going to wrap that up here. And that's kind of just a tidbit because I want to get it away. And then we have our first official Week 1 Pick'ems, ladies and gentlemen. Pick'ems is back. Can we get a clap it up for the Pick'ems? Pick'ems is back, Week 1. Ryan's not clapping up because I believe you said that you fucking hate me. Is that why you didn't clap?
Ooh. The mic wouldn't pick up my clap anyway. So stop picking it up.
But you could clap louder. You could. Nah, see, you ruined it. You ruined it. While you're over there, Ryan, you might toss me a drink out of the fridge before we get started. Preferably the green one. I don't want that, but I'm going to save it to when I throw it at the fucking TV. But let's get right into it. College football preview. John, I'm passing it over to you. What should we be looking out for? I know we're going to talk a little bit about these games and our pick'ems. Let's start with this past week's overview. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Let's start with this past week's wrap up. Obviously my Cornhuskers did not get the job done.
They did not, no.
So it makes me sad, but let's give me some recaps and some previews.
So some teams played well above their expectations. Some teams didn't. I thought some teams that did. I thought Vanderbilt looked very good against Hawaii on the Big Isle too. It's hard to win on the Big Isle.
Yes.
But now the Honolulu Stadium is no more. I think maybe Hawaii's lost some of its luster on the Big Isle.
You lost once they got rid of that stadium and they stopped wearing the rainbow uniforms. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
So currently, if the playoff was decided by point differential, Vanderbilt would be our 1 seed. So shout out the Commodores.
Anchor down.
So shout out them. Another team I thought that looked way better than expectations were the Illinois Fighting Illini. I thought they looked really good against Wyoming. The run game looked really good. Offensive line was getting a ton of blocks. Defense played well.
And I don't know if this might be kind of a stretch. I feel like I've said this in years past, not necessarily about Illinois, but about a team that I think that could, like Indiana in the COVID year, if their quarterback doesn't blow their ACL out, I think they could have been something kind of special. Not like the best team in the conference, but definitely something to make some noise. I think Illinois could be that for the Big Ten this year. Not necessarily as much as maybe Nebraska, hopefully, knock on wood, but some other Big Ten teams. I think Illinois could be a team that could have some pop and might surprise some people this year. And I meant to say that last week, but I'm saying that now and I'm putting it on record. So, by the end of the football season, maybe we look back and be like, Harrison, you're a fucking idiot. There's no way they were going to be that. And it might be, but I'm telling you right now, you could book it right now. Look out for the Illini.
Yeah, and you play. I mean, they won, I believe, 38-7 or 10, something like that. They won by a decent margin. We'll see how they look. I think in a wide open Big Ten West, Illinois really showed that they belong, and I think we'll really see that here. They play Friday at Bloomington. They're playing Indiana Hoosiers. So we'll see that game on Friday. I believe Indiana's a 3-point favorite. I would take Illinois money line. I think the way they were able to run the ball, getting that first game in, I think that's important. I thought Illinois really rose above expectations.
I also think that Saturday. It slows the game down a lot. When you can run the ball and run the ball effectively, I think that it really does help some of these teams that maybe can't go through the air as much. And if you shrink the game, no matter what way, it helps, and you definitely put yourself in a good position to win. That's what Michigan did all last year. I mean, Michigan could throw the ball pretty decently. Like when they had to throw the ball, they had to throw the ball. They played Michigan State quarterback. I know they lost that game, but with some controversial calls from the official. But quarterback threw for over 350 yards, I believe. But their game plan has always been, let's run the ball, let's run it down your throat. And that's why they had 2 running backs, excluding an injury, probably would have been over 1,000-yard rushing. Because I think I can't remember which one, either Corum or Haskins. One of them got injured. I believe it was Corum. He only had like 800, but he missed like 4 games. So you got to think, run the ball, and it definitely can slow some things down, and it can definitely put you in a position to win easily.
For sure. And now another team, they didn't win the game, but the way the UConn Huskies played in Provo, Utah, or Logan, Utah, one of the two. I mean, they were 28-point underdogs and only lost by 11 points.
Yeah.
So maybe UConn has a football team again. It'd be nice to see them play.
They haven't had a football team since
pre-COVID.
D. Butler.
Yeah,
Butler was there from the Colts. Darius Butler. He played for the Colts for a little bit.
There's that one year they won the Big East and went to the Fiesta Bowl. But
it'd be cool to see UConn get a team. I also want the Big East to come back. That's just a biased person. A biasing. I think that was a very underrated league, just in general. But I want them to come back. So maybe I'm biased. I don't know. But I'd like to see them come back.
I do too. Maybe if Penn State would have joined way back in the day, that league would still be around today. But some teams that underperformed, I mean, we won't start.
I'll say it. Nebraska underperformed. God damn it, Scott. What the fuck are you doing an onside kick up 11 when you're about to blow the game open? Kick it off. Play normal football, you dickhead. This isn't NCAA 14 preloaded on your Xbox 360, your PS3. Be a coach, damn it.
I mean, that was a fireable offense. If I'm Nebraska, I'm firing him
tomorrow.
And I am going to Matt Campbell from Iowa State, giving him a blank paycheck and saying, hey,
save us.
You're coming here. Another team, we'll get back to that game, but another team I thought that really underperformed were unfortunately, my Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. They were down early on Austin
did not
P.
look good.
Austin P is not a good football team, folks. And I thought my Hilltoppers, I thought they would have rebounded a little bit at quarterback. Obviously, losing the greatest quarterback of all time, Billy
In college
Zappi,
football.
in college football, statistically history. They did not recover. Hilltoppers only won by 9, but hey, it's week 0. It was week 0. But yeah, Nebraska, huge egg laid. I mean, hey, it's every other year for Northwestern, so maybe Northwestern's back.
Yeah, who knows? A wise man once said also, the best way to cover up a stinky performance is with deodorant. And the best deodorant is a win.
Yep.
Sometimes it's one of those ones. It's like, look at Nebraska last year. Ohio State played at Nebraska, I believe. Mm-hmm. And Michigan played at Nebraska, or Nebraska was at Michigan, one of the other. Obviously, it wasn't a neutral site, but
yeah.
They both played awful. So everybody played awful against Nebraska. They were all single-digit scores. But guess what? They still found a way to win. And sometimes that's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, if you go undefeated and you had a close game against Nebraska, or you had a close game against Austin P, if you go undefeated, nobody gives a fuck at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Unless you're really, in contention for something where they actually take a die-hard look at those, I don't think it's something you have to be worried about.
Yeah. Another team I thought underperformed were the North Carolina Tar Heels. Florida A&M, they were, I believe I sent it to the DM of Coast to Coast, Harrison, so you might have saw it, but
yeah.
Florida A&M had a bunch of players with academic issues at the last second. I believe they had like 12 players out, or 12 to 20
Something
players out,
yeah.
Several starters, and they still put up a fight against North Carolina in Chapel Hill.
Enough to be like, where's 4 or 5 of our guys?
Yeah.
Wait, there's how many people? There's definitely way more people that should be here. It's one of those scenarios. That's not okay. It's almost as bad as shaking a vending machine and getting thrown out and cut from a football team when you're playing your biggest rival of the year just to get a pack of peanuts or something out of a vending machine instead of just loaning $1.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do I even need to talk anymore?
I don't even think you need to talk anymore. I think that just kind of wraps it up there. But I will say, though, a sneaky team to look out for this year is Vanderbilt.
Yep.
They
really
put the beating on Hawaii, and it's not like that's like the big shock of the world. Nobody's necessarily surprised by that, I would say.
I mean, that margin, yeah. I mean, Vanderbilt was only an 8-point favorite, I believe.
But they have a stud quarterback that might be making some noise. I'm getting like a little bit of Lamar Jackson, Louisville days, kind of a throwback here. And I'm not trying to jump the shark here and say he's going to be a Heisman hopeful, but definitely look out at Vanderbilt, anchor down. That's one of my spicy picks for the year.
Okay, so now that's pretty much all of week 0. Mm-hmm. We've pretty much covered everything that even happened. Do we want to go into playoff predictions now going into the season? Do we want to all give
our top 4?
Top 4, first 2 out. We'll give our first 2 out.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Ryan, you want to do that?
Sure.
All right, John, you want to go first then?
I'll go first since I sprung this up on you.
Okay, cool.
So I'm going this based on what I think Ohio State's schedule will be. I think they'll end up playing a tougher schedule than Alabama. Also, my reasoning for spoiler alert, I'm putting Ohio State 1. The only reason I have them 1 over Alabama is because I believe they're going to try to avoid a matchup that I will be putting later in my playoffs. So I'll put Ohio State 1, Alabama 2. This is really fucking hard. This is one of the harder playoffs to predict in a long time, which is a good thing. I believe there's going to be some parity this year, folks. But number 3, do I really want to go? I'm going the Clemson Tigers. Okay. I do think they're going to rebound. I think the ACC is going to be down again. I believe they're better than NC State. I believe they're better than Pitt. I think they'll end up winning the ACC. They'll have one of the better defenses, and they'll rematch Alabama in the first round. I believe Georgia's our 4. I believe we'll see 2 teams from the Big Ten. Number 5, I'm going to have the Michigan
2 teams from the Big Ten or SEC?
SEC.
Okay.
Number 5, my first team out, I believe, will be the Michigan Wolverines. I'm looking at their schedule. I don't see very many losable games. I just think they put in Georgia over Michigan. I think it'll be a little controversial. But I believe Michigan, I'm looking at their schedule. I'm not seeing many losses. I believe Ohio State can be their only losses here. And then number 6, I'll put the Utah Utes. They're who I have winning the. That's who I have winning the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they are better than USC, and I see them coming out from out west.
I don't hate either of those picks. So run that back for people just in case. You said 1 Ohio State, 2 Alabama, 3
Clemson,
4 Georgia, 5 Michigan, 6 Utah. So I'm actually going to go 1 Alabama. I think Alabama's going to be that number 1 through the entire year. The only way I could see them not being it through the entire year is Ohio State beats Notre Dame, even by a touchdown or 2 or by 10 points. I think it would be stupid not to put Ohio State number 1 because Alabama's playing who week 1? They can't be playing anybody worth a damn, right? Hold, please. They're playing Utah State.
Yeah.
Right, so I think if Ohio State wins by 10-plus points, which I think they will, it's a little, foreshadowing.
You said Alabama won.
Yeah, I think Alabama will end up being 1 because of kind of the same idea that you have is I think Georgia and Alabama might be in the final of their conference championship. But I think depending on how big, I think Ohio State will end up being number 2.
Okay.
As well. A lot of question marks on their defense, new coordinator, and a lot of question marks on these young guys replacing 2 of the best wide receivers in all of college football. So that's something I think it'll work out. I think they'll figure it out. They're not there for a reason. They're not there for no reason. That's not what I meant.
So I assume you're going Georgia 3?
Actually, no,
Okay.
I'm not. I'm going to say Alabama's going to beat Georgia in the SEC championship, leaving them 1 going undefeated. And I think actually Texas A&M will be close enough, and their only loss will be Alabama. So I think that they will be close enough to where they're not going to be like, well, Georgia lost to, Alabama in the SEC championship. And it's like, that loss was too late in the season. I think I could see A&M jumping, and they're not going to put them at the 4 spot because nobody wants to see an SEC team play each other necessarily in the first round again. I could see them being in a 4. Really, the 3 and 4 are kind of interchangeable. And my 4th will be Utah. So I know this is going to be kind of sound stupid. So basically put 3 and 4 as Utah or A&M in the sense of if they don't want to be like, oh, A&M should definitely be the 4 team, but they'll just do what they did last year. To me, Michigan should have been the 1 seed. They beat the brakes off of Iowa and definitely were the better performed team outside of the Alabama-Georgia game. They just put Alabama first because they didn't want Georgia and Alabama because there's no way they were going to drop Alabama to 4, right? They kept it the way that it did so they don't have to play each other until it was a national championship game. So I think that's going to be the kind of the same thing. I would like to say Utah is going to be 3 and then A&M is going to sneak in at 4, but they're going to bump A&M to 4 because they don't want Alabama in an SEC championship game in the first round of the playoffs. First out, I do like your first down. I think Michigan will be the first out, and then 6 will be Georgia for me. I don't believe in Clemson personally. That's just me.
Yeah, I just think there's so many wild cards this year. I think there's so many. The transfer
portal did it for everybody. I think USC, look out for USC. USC is going to be a sneaky team. And, I think also another team that could, apparently a lot of people are high on, I'm not so much high on them, is Pitt. I don't know why. I feel like you just lost your 4-year starting quarterback. We'll see how it goes. But just in case anybody, is kind of lost track for the Spotify listeners and the YouTube listeners, mine is Alabama 1, 2 Ohio State, 3 Texas A&M, 4 Utah, 5 Michigan, 6 Georgia. So I have 3 SEC teams because that's just what it's going to be.
And look, the only people that think Pitt is going to be good are the Desmond Howards of the world. So if you think Pitt's going to be good, you're in some bad.
Before we get to Ryan's pick, I didn't watch the clip of that video.
I don't think you need to.
I don't know if anybody needs to, but based off of his picks, they're not the most wrong picks, I guess. I think they're out of pocket just because I don't think that's how it is. I don't know if it's going to work. But if his logic is, okay, everybody in the Pac-12 is just going to beat the shit out of everybody, like nobody in the Pac-12 is going to be worth a damn, same thing with the Big 12. Those are very realistic things to happen. Nobody in the Pac-12 is going to be worth a damn, and nobody in the Big 12 is going to be worth a damn. That's very realistic. Fair?
I mean,
Utah's the only hope, but if Utah loses,
but he
like,
had Pitt.
I hear you. Then his logic is, I'm assuming that he's like, okay, A&M's going to beat Alabama, or, they're going to beat each other up, and then there's just going to be too many interconference losses where you're not. We've all established that the conference and the selection committee is not putting the 2-loss team in. They're just not. No matter how stupid it is, they're just not. I think this could be the year that they do that.
This could be the year, I will say. I think Georgia with 2 losses could make it.
So they go, okay, fine. We're not putting a 2-loss team in, right? Whatever. Well, then let's go. You're not putting 2 Big Ten teams in. It's probably either going to be Ohio State and Michigan, and whoever wins the Big Ten title, if he thinks it's Michigan, then Michigan obviously gets in. Boom. And then A&M wins the SEC title. A&M gets in. Boom. And then he has Pitt, and who was the other one? Was it BYU?
Baylor.
Oh, it's Baylor. So if he goes, Baylor wins the Big 12, they're in. And then Pitt wins the ACC, that's the other conference championship. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or different. I'm saying if those are his logical reasons behind him, at least he has base behind him. And he's not just thinking, oh, this fucking looks funny. I do think they're terrible picks. Don't get it twisted. But I'd have to see the rest of it. Yeah, I'm not high on Pitt. I think if you lose your quarterback it's like when JT Barrett left. I was like, okay, Ohio State's not necessarily going to fall off the face of the earth, but I was like, Ohio State's not going to be as good because they don't have their locker room leader. They don't have the guy that's been through the most games and has all the Big Ten records. You just don't have that guy in your locker room anymore. I think it's hard to lose. So Pitt's my thing with Kenny Pickett. He was their college starter for 4 years, and he's no longer there anymore. So I think he's a tough end. But big shoes to fill for whoever's got it. But Ryan, who's your first 4 and then your first 2 out?
My turn now?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry.
All right. So number 1.
Hey, you better watch the attitude. I'll drop you from this segment real quick.
Number 1, going Alabama. I do think Ohio State has a harder schedule than them. Because of SEC bias. That's not how everybody's going to see it. They're going to win the SEC championship game. They're going to be number 1. They're going to beat Georgia. Ohio State's going to be number 2. Number 3 is going to be Utah. Number 4 is going to be Georgia, with their only loss being to Alabama in the SEC championship game. Georgia plays absolutely nobody this year, but because of SEC bias, they're still going to get in with 1 loss. My first 1 out is Michigan, and then my second 1 out, I'm going for a curveball here.
Oh God!
So you said Michigan was your first out?
Yeah, Michigan's 5. They're first out.
Can I guess your curveball?
Sure.
Oklahoma.
Yes.
You fucking tool.
I am reason. Clemson, Notre Dame, they play each other. One of them will have a loss against each other, and if they have a loss against somebody else, that's
2 losses.
They're already out of the top 6 in my mind. Texas A&M and Alabama play each other, so they won't be top 6 in my mind, especially if the game goes bad for one of those 2, especially with Texas A&M. Oklahoma has a chance to go undefeated with a very simple schedule, with maybe their 1 loss coming to Baylor, and then Baylor could end up with maybe 2 losses. I think it'll play out where Oklahoma will be possibly only 1 loss, but they won't make it in the top 4. They'll be 5 or 6.
My curveball, I think Oklahoma has several losses. I'm thinking like 3 or 4.
To who?
Doesn't matter.
You just think they're just...
I just think they're going to be 3 or 4. You got a new coaching staff. You lost all your talent. They all went to USC and other schools. I just can't see them
think
that good.
So I know there's an argument to be made about college football programs and obviously what blue blood means when it comes to recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
But I think over the past, since the college football playoff era, you've had maybe 5 teams that have been able to restack, reload, and be, relevant all these years. Ohio State.
There's 2 teams. 3 teams.
Okay, listen. That have made multiple college football playoffs. Oklahoma's one of them.
Making the college football playoffs doesn't mean shit.
That means they're relevant.
That does not.
Oh, okay.
Penn State and Michigan State did not belong in the college football playoffs, but they made it.
Penn
State
State
has never made the college football playoffs.
Was it
so get shit on.
Get shit on, kid.
Michigan State won on a fluke year.
They did win. They won 2 fluke games.
They didn't belong. They were not the best team.
That's why I said they're not consistent because they haven't made multiple.
Oklahoma's never belonged. They got boat raced every playoff they've been in.
They made it multiple.
They got boat raced by LSU.
Let me finish.
Don't you dare raise your voice at me.
They belong.
Playoff multiple years since what's been 6 years? No, 7 or 8 years.
2014.
They had it.
2014.
That's not a fluke.
Also, 2016 they won. Or 2017 they won 100% belonged. That was an overtime game against Georgia. who ended up losing in overtime to Alabama. That was that Rose Bowl game with Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb. That game was awesome. Don't tell me Oklahoma never belonged.
I'm just saying that's one time.
Okay, my point is
Fair.
The other time
Alabama-
they got crushed.
Yeah, but they've
Alabama-
still made it a couple
Alabama.
times.
Making it a couple times doesn't make it irrelevant. That's all my point. That's my point.
2015, they gave Clemson a fight.
My point is Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, and Oklahoma are those 5 teams that are at least 3 of those teams are in the college football playoff every year. Recruiting wise, that means something. So I think even with the whole staff change, even with some people leaving, even with some people graduating, they're still going to be good. They have an easy ass schedule against Baylor, who hasn't been relevant since 2013. So
RG 666.
yeah.
No, horns are up this year,
No,
brother.
fuck Texas.
Horns are up.
No,
Texas
the
is
only
winning.
thing I'm saying is like retrospectively, I don't know if you can say my whole point of the just because you make it a couple times doesn't mean shit. It's how you perform in those games. And it's like to me, Georgia's only ever had one relevant year. And it was the year they won it. This past year when they won that title. They've
2017,
They lost the national championship game.
on
and
a
they
second and 26.
We can make excuses all we want. I'm just saying they have never won when it mattered most, except this past year. Alabama has won when it mattered most consistently. Ohio State has won when it mattered most consistently, and same as Clemson.
I disagree.
That's all I'm getting at.
I disagree with your Georgia take.
I'm saying Georgia's fringe. Fringe.
If we're going by that, then it's only Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, and that is it. No one else.
That's what I just said. That's my whole point. That's my stake and that's my argument.
Okay.
That's why I don't consider Oklahoma. And I'm saying Georgia could be, toss up. Yes, they made the national championship, but they could never get over the hump. That to me matters.
I think so. Obviously, the tier 1 is Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson, and Georgia does. I would say
And I don't
belongs
even
to
know-
the second tier,
And
but the difference between the second tier and the third tier is
miles.
huge.
Miles.
And I think Georgia, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma deserve credit for being in that second tier.
Notre Dame is not in that second tier.
They've made two. They've made 2 playoffs.
That doesn't mean anything. They only made a playoff because Clemson didn't have Trevor Lawrence and their 3 DNs.
What year did Notre Dame make playoffs?
2020 and 2018.
Yeah. They made it when Trevor Lawrence and when they joined the ACC conference for that 1 year because they knew they couldn't get in without a conference championship because it was COVID. So they couldn't play
No, it's because nobody would make a schedule with them. So they
because
joined
they
the
couldn't
ACC.
because of COVID.
Or well, it was
They weren't allowing out of conference play.
It was-
Was that
well,
the year
no, it was
Alabama- was that the year
I think that's the
Alabama-
same reason BYU
Well,
joined.
Was that the year Alabama played Notre Dame? We played Clemson, and then Alabama Ohio State national championship. Was that
you
the
yeah.
year?
you flipped it. It was it was the
Yeah.
year we played Clemson. It was the year we beat Clemson.
Fuck yeah.
boat race Clemson.
Boat race. Yeah, they scored a late touchdown to make it 21. But shit, what the fuck was I gonna say?
Notre
Tier
Dame.
one, tier two.
I was saying that the only reason Notre Dame made the playoffs is because they beat Clemson by a touchdown, I believe, or less than a touchdown or a touchdown or less. And Clemson didn't have their 2 best starting DNs and Trevor Lawrence. They
I remember
lost to
what I
a
was gonna say.
freshman, the quarterback now, Ungalea or
Yeah.
something. They lost. Then when they played them in the ACC championship, Clemson boat raced them, and the committee was like, they have 1 loss for the Clemson, who's their conference champion. Let's put them in when they didn't belong. Georgia belonged in that before Notre Dame did.
No, they had 2 losses. The only thing I was gonna say about
2 losses doesn't matter, by the way. I'm talking about skill. Go on.
the back to the ACC, they had to. It was conference by conference on whether they were allowed to join or not.
Join.
Or
play out of
play
conference,
out of
yeah.
conference. So it wasn't just like a everybody thing. It was Kevin
Big Ten
Warner.
didn't allow it.
Well, yeah, Dictator Warren was being.
Big Ten didn't allow it. I don't think the ACC allowed it. I think SEC is fine.
ACC allowed it, I believe, because I think they still played their like out of conference rivals from the SEC. I believe.
Okay.
Regardless, don't quote me.
Don't quote on it. Regardless, though.
I want to bring up.
And I'm still not even sure Clemson's in that argument without having Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, 2 of the best college quarterbacks. in
They're
recent.
100% in that argument.
We'll see. We'll see. Because if
That is
Dabo
the
Swinney
reason-
doesn't win shit this year and is bad again, I think that
is a reason.
proves maybe he's not a good coach.
That's a reason why they're being considered. Like I said earlier, there is a new age of blue bloods when it comes to recruiting 4 national championships and to play in those college football playoffs. Clemson's one of them because they can go and get Deshaun Watson and a Trevor Lawrence and be fucking disgusting. That's part of the program.
For sure, I get that, but also, somebody might have to fact check me, whether that's you or John. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence and or Deshaun Watson were like top recruits out of their class. They were huge. I know
they're like top 5. They're both probably top 5.
Yeah, they're both probably top 5. But I'm saying it's no Arch,
right?
It's no Arch Manning, and it's
Arch Manning's overrated.
I'm just, you get what I'm saying.
Wasn't Trevor Lawrence's class? It was Fields and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it's no like Arch Manning or Quinn Ewers, like these guys are the 5 stars, never scored any higher, or they just got, or these big other blue bloods didn't want them. Obviously, that's part of recruiting, and Clemson was pretty decent, before the college football playoffs. Like they weren't like the worst team in the ACC, but I think they were consistently top 2, top 3 in the ACC for the past decade, and maybe some more. But the ACC also hasn't been relevant, and since Miami, probably.
It just makes it easier for them to get to the playoff.
Right, and that's my point. So, that's that I guess my point is I don't know how much of that blue blood is, because to me Ohio State's made the playoffs 4 times? 3 or 4 times?
4.
4 times with how many different quarterbacks?
Cardell Jones, JT Barrett,
Justin
Fields. And
because Hassan Haskins was Washington, that was the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
right. Alabama's obviously made it with a fuck ton of quarterbacks.
Just call him Hassan Haskins. The dude died, man.
Dewey Haskins. I'm sorry. I just saw the Hassan Haskins card earlier, but you have that, and then you have Georgia's made the college football playoffs with Benson.
Yeah,
and then
Trevor Lawrence was.
Trevor
Lawrence was a .999 rating. He is 100% a Quinn Ewers or a...
No, he's not, because Quinn Ewers had 100 or 1, I guess.
Shut the fuck up.
Justin Fields was .998. It's the same thing. If you round up, it all averages out to be the same. But they made it with different. Clemson hasn't made it without Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence. That's it. That's all I'm saying. And I will say, to me, when you have multiple teams of multiple upper echelons making it, I think that is important, and that kind of puts you in that upper echelon of blue bloods. Yes. But until Dabo can win with the team he does when he doesn't have a generational quarterback of college in his quarterback room, I think it's when it matters. And that's my whole thing on Dabo. That's why I said, like, Georgia's like the fringe, because, like, they always make it, and they're making the playoffs, but they're not winning in the playoffs. So that's kind of hard.
What matters is...
Because Clemson's won.
Twice. They're They're one of 2 teams that have won twice in the playoff era. I don't think because you have Trevor Lawrence, because you have Deshaun Watson, I don't think that should count against you. He recruited them. Are we just taking out great players now?
I believe I said Clemson's in the top 3. I feel like you're reiterating my points when you just go there. It's not his fault that he recruited them. Yeah, that's exactly why I said Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson are the 3 echelon, and Georgia's like the fringe 3rd team. They make it consistently, but they never win.
I was kind of more referring to a past argument we've had with a different.
Not about today.
This was last week. But like,
oh my god, is this about the Bo Schembechler game?
No. This is about you saying Jim Harbaugh's better than Dabo.
I did not say Jim Harbaugh. I did not say Jim Harbaugh was better than Dabo.
Right.
I say Jim Harbaugh is one of the best college football coaches today. This fucking guy. There's only like 5 good coaches, and that's it. I'll die.
One more point I want to make.
Stop it.
One more point I want to make that John said earlier.
Knock it off.
I think
before I come across
when you were saying your picks, you said Georgia possibly could still make it with 2 losses this year. There's no fucking
way they lose 2 games, or no fucking way they make it with 2 losses.
There's no way that if they make it in with 2 losses, I would never watch college football again. That's not true.
I would say don't lie to yourself like
that. Their schedule is just not hard enough.
It can happen.
They play Oregon. That's it. Kentucky. I'm not counting Kentucky as college football program.
Dude,
first of all, you forget that they can put whoever the fuck they want to put in these college football playoffs.
Correct.
If they want to throw Western Kentucky Hilltoppers in, they can do that. That's why this whole thing's a sham, because it's not skill-based. It's by opinion-based. That's the whole thing of bullshit. That's why I don't like it. So I don't like gymnastics, because you sit there and be like, oh, well, this person did a tight flip, and that's why they get this 10. And this other person back, well, it wasn't tight enough. It's like, there's no gauge to judge whether it's not. You put these people out on the field, they play their ass off. This team's better, clearly better on paper and the eye test, but because this team's undefeated and they played nobody, they're in. Makes no sense to me. So I don't like college football play, and I think that ruined college football, personally.
But anyway, so back to Kentucky. Kentucky fans think Will Levis is like the shit. They think he's going to be like a number. They think he's like the number one pick.
He's gonna stop Vanderbilt this year.
He might be like the 4th best QB in the conference.
Hey, look, don't hate on my Wildcats.
The East is probably, out of the Power 5 conferences and divisions, lower 80%. They're probably the 2nd or 3rd worst.
Not this year. Most years, I'll give that to you. Not this year.
Who else other than Georgia and Kentucky?
Tennessee's not bad. They'll be decent this year. No, look. Ask Ian Binns. I am the number 1 anti-Tennessee guy. Tennessee with Hendon Hooker will not be bad. Quote, take that to the
dude. If Vanderbilt and Rutgers had a slug match to the death, I'd put all my death being pointed at the earth. I'm putting Rutgers to save.
No. Vanderbilt is destroying Rutgers this year.
I bet Vanderbilt's baseball team could give, if they suited up, could give their football team a run for their money.
You're wrong. Vanderbilt would destroy Rutgers. Rutgers suck this year. They might win like 3 games. I will shit on Greg Schiano.
We've completely lost concentration. This is supposed to be
the SEC East is better than both divisions in the ACC, both divisions in the Pac-12. I mean, the Big 12 doesn't have divisions, and I would say they're better than the Big 10 West.
Oh my god!
This year specifically,
I might throw up. We've completely derailed what we were talking about. This is supposed to be a week. The segment.
The game haven't even started yet.
This is supposed to be the college football preview. Not a single one of these things is a preview. This is just opinion based at this point. Of the SEC's this is dog shit, and the Big 10 West
This
is
is
not.
why people come to coast to coast.
Yeah, this is completely derailed. But wrapping this up, thank you, John, for the college football game preview. Check out those games. We'll get more into the pick'ems later.
Jim Harbaugh not a top 5 coach in college football.
Oh my God, name 5.
Uh,
Before we continue, just wrap this. I won't have any argument. I'll let your 5 stand.
Nick Saban,
Obviously.
Dabo Swinney.
Yes.
Yes, that's not even a question.
Yes.
Kirby
I
Smart.
said yes.
Kirby Smart.
Okay.
Lincoln Riley. Yes.
He's won just as much as Jim Harbaugh, but go on.
He has more Heisman winners than Jim Harbaugh has conference championships. Yes.
That doesn't mean anything. Heisman's completely political. Go on.
He's made more playoffs.
So is Ryan Day your 5?
I would say he's better than
I'm not sure how you could say that, but go on.
I can. He's won more conference championships and they are equal in record against each other.
He's won 2?
Yes. That's double Jim Harbaugh's.
You're counting the conference championship of COVID year?
Yes.
That's a joke. And I'm glad that is a joke of an argument, John, and I'm disappointed in you.
How's that a joke?
I expected more. They played 6 people.
Okay. Were they not going to win the conference anyways?
You can't say that. That's not how this works.
But they won the conference.
Oh, okay. So if the Astros won the World Series, and even if they did cheat, they still would have won. That team was top loaded.
Okay, well, I'm not.
Do you see how that argument works? That's not
look
how
how
that
he
works.
has to bring this up. Look how he has to bring
I'm
this
saying
up.
that's not how that works. They
talking
played 6 teams. They didn't even play the best team in the conference championship game. They just played the team that could go. You can't count the COVID year. The COVID year can't count.
Northwestern
Stop
was
it.
better than everybody else in the West. They beat Wisconsin. In a football game.
That doesn't make them better, John.
Well, then,
So Purdue.
then what do you want Ohio State to do?
So Purdue beating Ohio State and Iowa beating Ohio State in those 2 years back to back. Purdue and Iowa were better than Ohio State. They beat them in a football game, so that makes sense. So Purdue and Iowa both better.
The
than
records
Ohio
also
State.
don't align with that. The records align with Northwestern and Wisconsin. Northwestern had a better record and beat them on the field.
In a COVID year that did it. I'm just saying
We're
you
all
cannot.
playing Big Ten teams, though.
I'm not disagreeing that. I'm saying the fact that you're hanging your hat on Ryan Day being a better coach right now, and he might be.
He also only has 3. This is also one of his 3 years that we have to take from, and he already has double the conference championship.
And you're counting one that's a joke. That's my
isn't
point.
a joke.
That is
they
a
went
joke.
to the national championship game. Obviously, they're going to win the Big Ten.
That's not obvious. That's not how this
think
works,
it's pretty
John.
obvious.
If Iowa and Purdue can beat Ohio State on any given Saturday, why can't any other team beat Ohio State?
And both of those years, they still won the Big Ten.
That's not my point. I'm saying that proves the point that any other team could win against Ohio State just because they won 6 games and then went to the Big Ten Conference Championship and won, and then went to the playoffs and went to the national championship game. That doesn't mean they were the best team in the Big Ten. You just can't know. There's too many moving factors. They only played 6 fucking games.
I think it's pretty easy to say that. We'll move on.
I think that's ridiculous, but go on. Moving on, NFL top 10 players released. Ryan, if you would be so kind to pull that graphic up. This is the voted on by the players. Once again, I'm not sure who all gets this vote. I think it might just be the entire 53-man roster. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if it's like the top 5, like the captains, or if it's like top 5 earning. I don't know who gets to all vote on this. I just know it's voted on by the players. So these are these guys' peers. One thing that sticks out to me right at the gate, you have Jalen Ramsey, Cooper Kupp, and Aaron Donald all on your top. Oh, for Spotify listeners, by the way, that are listening and can't see the graphic. Number 1, Tom Brady. Number 2, Aaron Donald. 3, Aaron Rodgers. 4, Cooper Kupp. 5, Jonathan Taylor. 6, TJ Watt. 7, Devontae Adams. 8, Patrick Mahomes. 9, Jalen Ramsey. And 10, Travis Kelce. Rounding out the top 10, obviously we can go on the entire list for more, but I feel like this top 10 is just a good focal point to kind of get your arms around and just kind of get a better gauge of what the situation was. The thing that kind of jumps out to me right away is you have 3 Rams players right out the gate. Aaron Donald, obviously one of the greatest, if not the greatest, D-end of all time. Cooper Kupp won the Triple Crown last year for receiving yards, receptions, touchdowns.
Yeah, he was a Triple Crown. Yeah.
No, I'm saying is it receiving yards, receptions, touchdowns? Okay, so those 3, and then Jalen Ramsey, cornerback, obviously very good at his position.
Yep.
Highest paid, I think, cornerback in the history of the NFL, or like was when he was with the Jags, I believe. But just kind of also some things to take away. You have Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, only 3 quarterbacks. I figured we might have had a 4th. I'm not sure who the 4th would be. Maybe Josh Allen might crack the top 10. I was kind of surprised by that. But then you ask a pretty decent amount of defensive guys. TJ Watt, Jalen Ramsey, obviously, and Aaron Donald. 3 kind of there. I feel like this is a pretty well-balanced list of top 10. You don't have all offensive guys. You don't have a good majority of defensive guys. It's majority offensive just because that's would be logically how it is. But it's not 90% quarterbacks, and it's not a bunch of wide receivers. But I thought this was a pretty good balanced top 10 personally. Biggest takeaway, Jonathan.
So I never really put too much stock into this. This pretty much just shows that we're close to football.
Mm-hmm. Personally, I think this is more important than any of the other ones because this is the players. These are the guys that fucking are on the field together, the people that go against each other day in and day out and be like, yeah, that, like, Aaron Donald, yeah, that dude's a fucking freak of nature. He definitely deserves to be one of the best players, if not the best. He was number 2. Obviously, he's close.
Yeah, no, I just never put too much stock into this. I just enjoy kind of scrolling through it. Look like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, how many Browns players, how many Ohio State players.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something I like. I enjoy looking at it. I'm glad we do this every year.
Yeah.
I just never put too much stock into it. But I did see a graphic.
No Ohio State players. Okay.
I did see a graphic that showed the recruiting rankings of all these top 10 players. If you were to guess, Ryan, you can guess too. How many 4 or 5 stars do you think are on this list?
Well, I know Tom Brady definitely wasn't a 4 or 5 star. I'm pretty positive. Aaron Donald was a 3-star. I think is what Big Cat always said.
He was. Tom Brady was also before recruiting rankings, I believe.
So then,
Before they
technically no.
But he would not have
So
been.
you know the exact number of how many 4 or 5 stars on this list?
Yeah, I know the list.
Travis Kelce, no way. He went to Cincy. If he's a 4 or 5 star, he's not going to Cincy. He
was-
could be a 4-star.
He was okay. I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah, don't tell me yet. I'm gonna
I'll
guess.
say 4.
Okay, Jalen Ramsey. He went to where? LSU.
Florida State.
Oh fuck! I was gonna say LSU. Okay, so I'll go Travis Kelce. He went to Fresno State.
Devontae Adams. Yeah.
TJ Watt went to Wisconsin, right?
Yep.
I'll go Jonathan Taylor, T.J. Watt, Travis Kelce. Is this Aaron Rodgers going to Cal, or is this Aaron Rodgers going to...
He only went to Cal.
He went to JUCO.
Oh.
He went to a school, went to JUCO, and then went to Cal. So do you count the Cal as...
They have him as Cal.
Cal,
here,
okay.
So. This was the graphic that Fox posted.
I'll do 4.
4, Ryan?
I did 4. Jonathan Taylor, T.J. Watt, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Ramsey.
So we only have 1. It's Jalen Ramsey. Travis Kelce was a 2-star.
No, actually, I should have known that because I think Travis Kelce...
He was a 3-star. He was close. I would say T.J. Watt was probably the second highest.
I think Travis Kelce... I should have known that because I think Travis Kelce went to Cincinnati because he could play football and basketball or something.
Yeah.
He was like supposed to do both.
He was only the 85th ranked tight end in his class and the 1,583rd overall.
So basically what this tells me is that those rankings mean literally nothing.
In terms of, I think it does when you're in college. I think once you get to the NFL, I think that's when things really
don't really mean anything.
Yeah, because I think in college does matter. I mean, we look at the recruiting rankings. All these players that are really high up are really good in college. The teams that recruit very well are the teams that win the national championship. I mean, I think it matters in college, but once we get to the pros, I mean, Cooper Kupp went to Eastern Washington, not even FBS. Tom Brady, obviously, you know the story with him. Devontae Adams went to Fresno State. Travis Kelce, Cincinnati. I mean, not a lot of big schools. And even Patrick Mahomes wasn't really that highly rated in college. Went to Texas Tech.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor kind of surprised me. I figured he'd be at least a 4-star just because I feel like running backs are, if you're a big smash mouth running back, I feel like, but I guess Wisconsin's not really known for their running backs. They're more known for their offensive linemen. So I guess maybe that's
they're known for their running backs. Aaron Rodgers and Jonathan Taylor were probably the 2 closest. Aaron Rodgers, number 53 overall, so he's probably the highest 3-star and was the 2nd overall pro quarterback. Jonathan Taylor was the 24th overall running back. So
okay, so
those 2 were pretty close. I will give you that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where Aaron Rodgers actually lands. If it's I can't remember where he went first.
He went somewhere in California. I don't remember. I think like Oakland or something.
But I would be curious to see what it was when he first came out. But outside of those are the things. I thought this was a pretty well-rounded list. One thing that I'm pretty surprised about is Jonathan Taylor being as high as he is. He had one good year. I love Jonathan Taylor. I'm big on him. I think he's going to be good. But it's just like, you can't think he had one good, like everybody here above in this list has been good and been good for quite some time. Cooper Kupp, maybe not Triple Crown good every year, but he's been around. He's been around, definitely number 1 option for a few years.
Yeah.
But outside of him, Jonathan Taylor is not. He's only had one good year, and I love Jonathan Taylor. I think he will be good, and I think he consistently will. My guess is he's probably 90% to 95% everyone's first-round draft pick in fantasy this year. So I'm just kind of surprised by that more than anything. I don't know who I would necessarily put above him. Maybe Josh Allen. Just move everybody up 1 and maybe put Josh Allen at 10. But Travis Kelce, definitely best tight end in the game. Jalen Ramsey, best corner in the game, arguably. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, best 3 quarterbacks in the league, with Josh Allen rounding that out. T.J. Watt, in my opinion, overrated as fuck. I think I'd rather have Myles Garrett as my edge than T.J. personally. Aaron Donald, best edge in the game. And then Jonathan Taylor's probably the best running back in the NFL right now before the season starts, based off of last year alone. So I think that you basically get the best at their position, Devontae Adams as well. You can basically get the best of everybody in their position right now. One thing I'm kind of surprised not seeing is a lineman. Not saying that they should be or shouldn't be, but like Quentin Nelson, what's that dude for the Teller? No.
Wyatt Teller for the Browns?
No, he's good, but he's not a top
He's
10.
on the list, but he's not top
Who's
10.
the highest paid lineman? One guy just got fucking paid this year. He might be for the Chiefs or the Bucks, but somebody got paid like a fat ton of money. Like, surprised he's not up there. Like, he was like the highest graded lineman this past year. Just, you got basically every position. Jalen Ramsey, you could argue like corner, safety, all that stuff. They're kind of the same. No linebackers. Darius Leonard, I think, cracked top 20. I think he was 15. But I feel like it's a pretty solid list, and I like the fact that it's voted on by its peers. But anything else you gotta, close out on that, or just is what it is?
Just fun to see. I mean,
just fun to see.
It is what it is. I never put too much stock into it, but
it just means enjoy him. Football's back.
Yeah, it just means football's back, and I enjoy them. So yeah.
All right. Well, before we get to our next spot, let's shout out our first sponsor of the podcast, Pete Abilities restaurant, food trucks, anything you want, they got it. All right. Go to their website, check them out. They'll tell you where the food trucks are at for the day. And also, if you want that more brick and mortar feel, sit down style restaurant feel, check them out in the Crooked Can in Old Hilliard, Ohio. They have a little booth in there as well. I mean, John, personally, my favorite to get is the chicken pita with teriyaki sauce, the homemade Bella sauce to die for. Best thing they're known for. And then also, I like to throw on the leafy greens, everything else involved. And then to wrap it up, a little bit of dessert with a set of chips. That's personally my go-to. I know you're a big fan of the feta fries, I know you're huge. I believe you're Buffalo Chicken, correct?
Yeah, I love the buffalo chicken.
Love the Buffalo Chicken pita with the Bella sauce on it as well. But check our friends out at Petabilities. We love them, they love us, and we're so glad that they're sponsoring the pod. So check them out on their website, see what the food trucks are at for today. Or if you want that brick and mortar field, Old Hilliard, Ohio, in the Crooked Can facilities. Thank you so much. Moving on, baseball talk. Let's talk just some wrapping things up. Season's winding down. It's getting to the most important part of the year for a lot of these teams, or the dumpster fire part of the year for these teams. First thing, Goldschmidt probably going to win the NL MVP.
Yeah, he really pulled away.
He's, I think, second in Triple Crown, and the only thing he's behind is home runs. He's leading batting average, and he's leading hits. So, do we think Daddy Goldschmidt gets the Triple Crown? Do you think he takes over?
I don't think he wins Triple Crown, but he's definitely I believe it's a safe bet that he will win our MVP.
I don't even know. John, if you could look up the MVP odds for baseball right now, he's got to be like minus 1,000 right now. I would be just so surprised if he's anything less than that. And it's not to shit on anybody that's in the NL. I mean, Freddie Freeman, great year as always. Mookie's having a great year as always. Sandy from the Miami, I know he doesn't have a bunch of wins, but he has leading the MLB in like complete games of like 4 or 5. He's having a great year as well. So I think Goldschmidt's the easy front runner pick for the Triple Crown Triple Crown. I think I'm gonna go on it. Nobody's won it since Miggy's won it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Goldschmidt gets the Triple Crown.
Yeah, Paul Goldschmidt is minus 1,400.
Yeah, so I figured 1,000. Who's next? Nolan
with plus 2,500, then Freddie Freeman with plus 3, Trey Turner plus 4, and Mookie Betts wrapping. There's the three-way tie with Mookie Betts, Lindor, and Austin Riley wrapping out the top 5.
I think that's kind of crazy. You have the top 5 basically are all in 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. I think that I can see the cards getting hot here, and people start hitting and getting crazy with it. But AL MVP, I think it's probably going to go to Judge. Whether I think he deserves it or not is a different argument. I believe Shohei is in that second tier spot. I don't think he'll win it just because he won it last year. The, oh my God, new shiny toy is kind of wearing off. I think if Judge gets to 62 home runs, he's definitely getting away with it.
Yeah.
Do you think that he's your AL MVP?
He's who I think is going to win it. I do think Aaron Judge is going to win it. I mean, he's minus 1,200 in the sports books here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Shohei's winning it. And then after Shohei, there's a huge drop-off. I don't think Jose is winning it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think Yonder Alvarez. Don't think Vladdy. Don't think Jose
Mm-hmm.
Altuve. So I do think Judge will end up winning it. I think he'll break the Yankees record of 62. And the writers are going to eat that up. And I believe he will win the AL MVP.
Yeah, I don't think he'll break the record of 62 personally. I think he would need to get hot again, and I don't know if the Yankees are doing that. Like, the Yankees went 1 for 40 against the A's in 2 games.
That is true.
So I don't necessarily know what's going on with the Yankees town. Obviously, Aaron Judge is kind of just carrying the load as is. But I personally think the AL MVP, if the season ended today, I would give it to Justin Verlander. Maybe a little bit biased there, but he's leading the league in wins. He has the best ERA, I believe, as well, or he's top 3. Post Tommy John's 39 years old, and he's having, when he won the AL MVP and Cy Young in the same year in 2015 or 14, something like that. He has so far, if the season ended today, based off where he was in that season and where he is in this season, he's well ahead of track of what he is. So if he keeps going and doing what he does, if he gets to like 23, 24 wins, and he keeps that ERA down and he keeps the wins good, strikeouts about, he's not leading the league in strikeouts, Garrett Cole is, but if he keeps it in that rough, in a good competitive era, I can personally see him getting away with stealing the MVP, and I think he rightfully should be in that conversation as well. But the best thing that I want to talk about, and I think you might like this as well, John. This is personally one of my favorite parts of the year. September 1st, rosters expand.
Yes.
Everybody gets like 2 extra people on their team, some people on their taxi squad. The reason I like this part is this is pretty much where you've decided your team's definitely not making the playoffs, and your team's basically turning back. Like, you're not going to get Reds, A's, Pirates, those teams right there. And then you have these fringe teams: Orioles, Padres, Brewers, Guardians, White Sox. You got these guys that are like maybe not could make the playoffs, maybe could not make the playoffs at all. But they're definitely going to expand that roster, and they're definitely going to be calling up some young guns. I am a fan of this part because everyone getting called up. All these top prospects in these guys' farm system are being invited to the show for the first time ever. It's super fun. Gunnar Henderson, Orioles top prospect. He had a home run today. I know that the A's are calling up one of their top prospects. Astros called up 2 of their top prospects. Like, it's just a fun time of the year seeing all these guys that are grinding out in the minor leagues finally make the show. And I think it's just a fun time of the year. And I don't, maybe I'm biased. I don't know. Do you like this time of the year? Do you like everybody getting called up, or are you just kind of,
No, you're right. I mean, we're getting to the heat of these playoff races, and the teams that aren't really competing, we're getting to see the future of baseball. So, love this time of year. Always good for baseball. There's never a bad time for baseball. So.
Yeah, personally, huge fan of baseball.
Yeah.
You know that. But Ryan, if you would be so kind to pull up the next graphic, it is the Team USA. Is it already up, or are you just giving me that look?
You're just giving me that look.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know if you was giving me that look for a reason.
Fucking fight us.
But we're gonna be talking about Team USA for the World Baseball Classic. Carlos Correa, I believe, has committed to play for Puerto Rico. I believe.
Yeah.
He's come out and he's definitely insisted on saying that he wants to play for them. Obviously, this is when people are starting to figure out who they are playing for and who they aren't playing for. Ryan Stanek came out, said he would be honored to be playing for Team USA. He's a very good bullpen guy for the Astros. We have no pitchers that have been announced for Team USA, I believe, correct? As of right now, no
Not
pitchers.
off the top of my head, no.
So, Ryan, whenever you give me that little thumbs up that the graphic
is the
is
one
up.
with the Team USA commits.
Yes.
Yes.
And I will talk about the 2. So the 2 people that you don't see on this, or you do see on this, Will Smith got added. He was late. But one person you don't see on this is Trey Turner. Trey Turner has committed to playing. And I think it's kind of funny that when we asked about who we'd like to see to round out the top, we said Tim Anderson. Well, I said Tim Anderson with the flair. I know you mentioned Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker decided to go, and Cedric Mullins. So I'm not saying we should basically make Team USA and maybe be on bench coach or 2, be next to Ken and Andy. But I think that we should be on Team USA. We picked at least 3 people extra that made the team. I think it's dope. Mike Trout is your captain. The graphic is up. You're good. So as you guys can see, for the people that are on Spotify listening, you have your infielders are Pete Alonso, Tim Anderson, Trey Turner, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Trevor Story. Solid ass infield. Then you have your outfielders. You have Mookie Betts, Bryce Harper, Cedric Mullins, Mike Trout, Kyle Tucker. Then as of right now, your catchers are JT Realmuto and Will Smith. Now, I don't want to jump the shark, and I don't want everybody to go all freaking crazy here, but I feel like this might be one of the best Team USAs we've had in a while or ever. I'm not sure how much better this can get, personally. I don't even know where you would want to add people. In the infield, maybe?
I mean, obviously pitcher, but I mean, looking at this is the greatest team of people assembled I've ever seen.
Right.
Like, I mean, this might be better than some all-star teams.
Right.
So
especially when you get to the pitcher aspect, because I believe Justin said he would be interested in playing in the World Baseball Classic, which would be fucking dope.
Yeah.
Would be awesome. But I think, like, if you had to do your pitching rotation, Max, DeGrom, Justin, maybe Garrett Cole, like, you have to have those 4 or 5 guys, like 4 guys. I don't know who else would be your 5th. Maybe.
Do you really need more than that? How many
outside
games? Do you know how? I've never.
I don't even know how many games they play. I don't even know how many you go deep. Maybe have more bullpen guys. I don't know. But this has to be one of the best Team USA's ever.
Has to be.
And I think personally, if we don't win, if USA doesn't win, I think this would be kind of a letdown.
Yes.
I don't know how seriously these guys take it. Maybe it's like an NBA All-Star break where you kind of just play because you want to represent your country. But if they're going full balls to the walls, like, which they're the best competitors in the world, I'd be surprised if they didn't do that personally. I think it would be kind of a letdown. Now, I don't know. Venezuela's going to put a good team together. Puerto Rico's going to put a good team together as well. And I think that's probably pretty much it. I don't think there's too many other teams that would be super competitive. Maybe Dominican Republic, I guess.
Yeah, all your
South American teams as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
Japan probably won't put.
Yeah.
I don't know what Japan's going to put or South Korea or any of those. Like Shohei, he's
I doubt.
Chinese.
No, he's
Japanese.
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 No,
Okay.
he's from the land of the golden sun.
Yeah, I don't
the
know
rising
if they
sun.
can take I don't know what their professional baseball scene is. I know it's very huge over there. I don't know how good they are compared to MLB talent.
That would be their edge, is because they're a bunch of no names.
Yeah.
And good baseball is played over in Japan. It's
Yeah.
just
Don't get it twisted.
we don't really give it the attention it deserves. That would be kind of the. I still think America's better, but obviously,
This is one of the greatest teams ever.
Yeah,
Like this
yeah.
team would be one of the greatest teams ever assembled.
yeah.
When you look at your bench and you have Kyle Tucker and maybe Cedric Mullins coming off the bench, Kyle Tucker's in the MVP race this year, and he's one of the best outfielders in all of baseball. But Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, and Bryce Harper are just three people that you can't argue against necessarily right now. So it'll definitely be a fun ass time to watch. And obviously, we're rooting for Team USA. But it'll be super dope to watch them play, and hopefully they bring home gold. I guess I don't know what you would call that.
we're bringing home the gold.
But bring home the World Baseball Classic. But moving on to the pick'ems. Before we get there, let's shout out our last sponsor, National Road Golf Course. If you're looking for a fun, intermediate level style golf course, links style, not any sand traps, few water hazards, some OB play as well, hazard play. Check out National Golf Course. Not that many trees. Definitely something that is player friendly and something good time for everybody. You got your full driving range that you can hit driver, pitching wedge, any of the clubs that you have in your bag. And you also got the simulators inside. John, the weather's turning cold. Got to check out the simulators inside.
Yeah, when the leaves started falling, I started heading back in for those simulators.
For them simulators, you got to. So make sure you check out our friends at National Road Golf Course, just outside of West Jefferson, Ohio, off of Route 40. Thank you guys for sponsoring the pod. Let them know that you sent it through, and let them know that we sent you, and we love them, and they love us. So thank you guys so much for sponsoring the pod. We appreciate you. And, John, I believe now is time.
We're
Our
back.
first college.
We're
our
back.
first- Hey, he plays for the Colts. He made our 53-man roster. He
Shout-
might be the future of the Indianapolis Colts.
Sam Ellinger might be better than Trevor Lawrence.
He had the highest preseason graded, 90.5, something like that, which is great.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. But week one, pickups. Listen, John won. Ryan came in second. I came in third. Will came in fourth. This is the year we all promised what we were going to win. I'm committing to myself right now, top two finish.
Top two finish.
Top two finish. I'm going to be one, but if I fall to two, just know it's happening. So week one pick'ems. John, read them. We'll pick them. Talk to me.
Eric gave us his picks. He's not here right now.
Of course.
But, I do have his picks here. So we're going to start off. I'm going in order that these games are starting. We're starting out Thursday, 7 p.m. out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have the Mountaineers of West Virginia taking on the Pitt Panthers. Who do you got, Harrison?
I believe I picked the Pitt Panthers. I think that they're really big, and I know West Virginia got a lot of transfers, so I'm not buying into that yet.
Eric also picked the Pitt Panthers, hailing from Pittsburgh. Ryan? Pitt Panthers. I also have the Pitt Panthers. We're sweeping there. I think West Virginia... I don't think they were above 500 last year. So
Mountaineer Nation.
I'm rooting for Since we all picked Pitt, I
That's
am
right.
rooting for West Virginia.
No, okay, fair.
So I'm
enough.
glad we all.
It probably will happen.
Yeah,
It probably will happen because they do that a lot.
I am a Mountaineer guy. So next game, just an hour later, we have the Penn State Nittany Lions taking on the Boilermakers of Purdue. Eric picked the Nittany Lions of Penn State. Harrison, who do you got?
I also have the Nittany Lions of Penn State. It is a home game, correct? For Penn State?
No, for Purdue. It's
For
in
Purdue.
West
Okay,
Lafayette.
good. Even better. Penn State plays well on the road.
I don't think that's better. Ryan?
I'm making it
That's
up.
it.
Yep, I have Penn State as well. Another sweep for the boys.
Back-to-back sweeps.
The state of Pennsylvania with a sweep tomorrow on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Next game, we have the Rutgers Scarlet Knights taking on the Boston College Eagles in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Ryan, who do you got?
Rutgers.
Chop on? You chopping?
I am also agreeing with Ryan. A Knight would fuck up Boston College. What are they? The Eagles?
They're Eagles.
Eagles.
I think the Swords do beat the Talons of the Eagles.
I think they do as well.
But Eric and I are going against that. We are going with the Eagles of Boston College.
Ryan, this is where we take our lead.
This is where we take our lead.
I mean, the Eagles are 7-point favorites.
I'm just saying.
Go off, King. All right, next game, we have a little in-state rivalry. We have the NC State Wolfpack taking on the East Carolina Pirates. Ryan, who do you got?
I have the East Carolina State Pirates with the upset, probably. I'm assuming.
Yes, that's
Yeah, they're 11.5-point underdogs.
Oh, yeah.
I think NC State's
At ECU as well.
At ECU,
Yeah. It's a trap game.
It is a trap game.
I believe NC State's like right?
NC State's like number
8 or some shit.
18. No, they're not that
They're
high.
not that high.
They are number 10 in the real poll.
The real pool.
In our poll. Harrison.
13th in the AP.
Yeah, 13th in the
Okay.
eight.
So I'm taking NC State Wolfpack. I'm big fan of them, and I think they'll be a solid team this year. A sneaky team for ACC teams. Look out.
Ryan, you're gonna like Eric's pick. He's also taking the Pirates of East Carolina.
Trap game.
It is a trap game for East Carolina or for NC
NC
State.
State.
I don't know why they would schedule this game. East Carolina, in-state rival. They're going to give them everything they got. I am taking the Wolfpack, though. I do think they are a very experienced defense. A lot of 6-year players on this team. I am taking the Wolfpack in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Ryan, this is where I take the lead from you. Just saying.
Or your 2-game deficit.
Maybe.
All right, next game on. We have a little in-state team. We got the Cincinnati Bearcats going down to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. Ryan, who do you got?
I actually have Cincinnati.
Cincinnati?
I think they lost their best defensive player ever that they've ever had and one of their best quarterbacks ever. So I'm going Razorback Nation.
Eric is disagreeing with you. He is taking the Bearcats, the Weasels, down in Fayetteville. I am also taking the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Let's go.
I do think Cincinnati has a lot to replace. Tough first game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fickle's the better coach, but, I mean, I'm taking the
Sometimes
Razorbacks.
experience matters.
Sometimes that first game, you really got to feel it. I am taking the Razorbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Next game, we have a neutral site game in Atlanta, Georgia, between Oregon and the Georgia Bulldogs.
Where does Georgia play?
Athens, Georgia. It's about like an hour out of Atlanta.
That's a fucking
Versus
travesty.
crap. I mean, they're the home team
Whatever.
listed.
Right.
So Oregon Ducks versus Georgia Bulldogs. Ryan, who do you got?
Georgia.
I'm going. I'm going Georgia as well. Obviously, who the fuck wouldn't pick Georgia?
Yeah, we're sweeping with Georgia here. We're all taking Georgia down in Atlanta. Next game, little sneaky good game. We got the Utah Utes traveling to Gainesville, Florida to take on the Florida Gators. The Urban Meyer Bowl. Ryan, who do you got?
Utah.
Utah?
Yeah, give me the Utes by about 40.
Eric,
I'm big on Utah this year, by the way. I put them in my Final Four, obviously, so I have to be, but I'm huge on them.
Eric has Utah and I have Utah. So we're clean sweep.
Number 4? Yeah,
We got like 4 sweeps on here, but I do think Utah is a good team.
Utah, Georgia, Pitt, and Penn State.
Penn State, yeah. So I think this is a game to look out for Utah, especially early in the year. But we'll see. Next game, we have the Memphis Tigers taking on the Mississippi State Bulldogs down in Stark Vegas, Mississippi. Ryan, who do you got?
See, this one's a tough one. I'm still going Mississippi State.
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State has one of the best veterinary schools for farm animals and large
Okay.
animals in the United States. And they're going to be absolutely surgical against these Memphis cats, i.e. big animal. So, Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. Eric took Mississippi State. I am also taking Mississippi State. I think Will Rogers is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in college football. Definitely the SEC. So watch out for the Bulldogs this year.
Another sweep?
Another
That's
sweep.
number 5.
That's number 5.
I'm assuming we have another one coming.
We'll see. We got our next game. The number 5 Irish come into Columbus to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ryan, who do you got?
Ohio State.
Yeah, I got Ohio State by about. I'm not joking when I say this. I think Ohio State will win by 28.
Ryan has Eric has Ohio State. I also have Ohio State. I think they win big. I think the defense really shows what they're made of this game.
Is this 6 or is it 6?
Whatever floats your boat, bro.
They're both 6.
Okay, go on.
All right, our last game. This will be Sunday night after Saturday's slate of games.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Florida State Seminoles traveling into Baton Rouge to take on the Go Tigers. The LSU Tigers. Ryan, who do you got?
Florida State.
Florida State.
I'm taking LSU. Brian Kelly's first year. I think that he'll turn the program around. Program.
Ryan is Eric is also taking the Tigers of LSU.
Boo.
And Ryan, get that fucking tomahawk chop going, because I ain't taking the Seminoles. I think
them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think them playing in week 0 really helps them out against Dequois or whatever the fuck that
Dequois.
I think it's Dequois.
Duquesne.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Not Duquois.
We weren't even close.
What the hell are we saying? Did you see that video where the guy had his pants like up here?
Yeah.
Oh my god, what the fuck were those? But that's all right.
But yeah, I'm taking the Seminoles. I think I like them having week 0 action going on.
Hey, look, that's our pick'ems. We'll post them. We'll post them to Twitter, so make sure you check us out on Coast to Coast Pod. Sports Pod, is that our Twitter? Coast to Coast Sports Pod. It's on our YouTube description.
C2C Sports Pod.
Yeah, C2C Sports Pod. Check us out there. We up here, right here. Yeah, make sure you check them out. Vote on them, agree with them, see what you like, what you don't like. John will be posting that later today or tomorrow maybe.
I'll do it tomorrow.
And we will get those going up as well. And then this time next week we will have an official week 2 college football rankings for the Coast to Coast sports team.
Yep. So you know when we do preseason poll, that includes week 0 and week 1.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll encompass that. You know, this will be our first time seeing these teams in person. We'll see a lot of change. A lot of these teams in the poll, like I posted on Twitter, we were really close. So I expect to see drastic change. We might even have a new voters.
Right.
We might add some voters to this.
We should have, I believe, hopefully, ideally, we would have 10 voters in this. So we'll be really curious to see how well that turns out for us.
I mean,
just know it's not just us voting. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So I mean, look, Cincinnati might lose.
Right,
Arkansas, they're only number 25. They could fall out.
Yeah, and especially if Notre Dame upsets Ohio State, obviously Notre Dame would then probably move to probably 2, honestly.
Probably number 2, with Ohio State still being 1.
Yes, of course, Ohio State being number 1. It was a tough game.
It was a tough game.
But yeah, I mean, those are the thing. Oregon plays Alabama, not Alabama, Georgia, but not this week, right?
It's this week.
Oh, okay.
We just picked that game.
Oh shit, you're so fucking right. I'm sorry. I had a stroke halfway through.
You're thinking of Texas plays
Alabama next week.
Yeah.
Right?
Texas wasn't even in our poll, so maybe they
could jump up especially.
Yeah.
So make sure you check those out. Ryan, is your 2-minute drill ready? Whenever you're ready, sweetheart. All right, well, we'll move on to the 2-minute drill. So just know that next week we'll be having those picks in and everything like that. So Ryan, whenever you're ready, sweet cheeks.
Georgia.
Oh, like you talking like that. All right, 2-minute drill. Hey.
All right, so the Ryan's 2-minute drill for those that are just peeping in and just listening for the first time ever. Quick hits, quick thoughts that Ryan saw on Twitter, saw on social media that he thought of in his bedroom, watching TV, anything that he could think of, or something that's breaking news in the media cycle. He writes down, he gives us our quick hits, quick thoughts of what we think it is, what it means. If he goes, oh, no, Ohio State's playing Notre Dame this year, CJ Stroud blew up in a car accident. I don't know. It got dark again. I did dark back.
You did that last week. Dude.
I know, right? What do you think that means for Ohio State?
Dude,
stuff like that. That's for an example.
And you disrespected Dwayne Haskins this episode.
I did. So that's kind of how this thing works. Quick hits, quick thoughts. John, are you ready?
Oh, I'm always ready.
I'm going to stay ready as well. Ryan, whenever you're ready, sweet cheeks.
All right. Aaron Judge is chasing 62 home runs, or Albert Pujols chasing 700 home runs. Which is better for baseball?
I think Albert Pujols chasing 700, icon of the game, legend.
I hope they both get it, but obviously it's Albert Pujols.
All right. Chet Holmgren will miss all of his NBA rookie season. How much does this affect the Thunder?
It doesn't. They're not going to be very good that anyway. They have 46 draft picks for Paul George anyway. Chet Holmgren, rookie of the year next year. Book it.
Shit with him, shit without him. It sucks for him, but Thunder will still suck.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Julio has a fat contract with the Mariners for $210 million with the chance to grow to $400. Is this a good deal for him?
I think no. I think big deals are bad for baseball teams. It kind of pigeonholes them to one guy.
For the Mariners, yeah, it's bad, but obviously I think it's a good.
Oh, it's huge for Julio.
Yeah.
Hawaii won the Little League World Series by outscoring opponents 60-5. GOAT Little League World Series team?
I think of recent history, you got to.
Dominant. If we're including cheaters, no, it is Taiwan. Excluding cheaters, sure, yeah, Hawaii. This was a great team.
All right. That's called a callback.
Roy McIlroy completes the comeback and wins the Tour Championship this past weekend. Best comeback of the year?
Great for Rory, but it's a really big choke by Scheffler.
This year, yes, but of all time, I mean, the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead, so.
I'm not sure that relates to golf, but I like where your head's at.
Best comeback of the year.
Did we make it?
Yeah,
All right,
we're
cool.
actually good about 30 seconds, actually.
Oh.
It's still counting down. You can tell that clock right here to
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah, so suck my ass.
just-
I think Albert Pujols chasing 700. I could see him getting hot. I think he's only like 4 away, 5 away.
He's 6. He hit his.
740. That beat Alex Rodriguez.
He's 2
right?
behind him right now.
Okay, so I think Albert chasing that is definitely bigger for baseball.
100%.
Chet Holmgren, definitely book him rookie of the year next year. He's
How
gonna
many
have
games do they have left in the season?
like
Average.
They got like a month.
they
month
got
and a half.
yeah they got like a month of games, so like 20 something.
Yeah, I would say they have about 30 games left.
So Aaron Judge would have to hit like at least one home run in what?
He's got
Maybe
he's got
he'd have to average the last 30 games of home run and a half.
he has like 52. He has like 50.
I'm saying to like get the record.
He has 10 games. He'd have to average 1 home run every 3 games probably. Because it's in a season. It's not in the regular season, is
No,
it?
I'm talking about like the overall record, not the Yankees record.
Oh, the overall, what's that, 70?
Yeah.
73.
Does that count regular season and postseason?
It's just regular season, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be really fucking hard.
I
If
could be
it's-
wrong.
I would say it's probably 1.5, maybe just under that. Like probably 1.23, but more realistically, like 1.5.
No
something like
question
that.
of how many home games the Yankees have.
Yeah, I mean, home field advantage is huge for the Yankees just because that ballpark's a fucking joke, as is. I could almost hit a home run in that stadium.
I thought Pujols just hit a home run for a second. He hit a sac fly
Fuck.
with my notifications. But the Cardinals have played 130 games, so they got 32 left.
They got 32 games left. Pujols can definitely make the playoffs and still get home runs in the postseason, which would be awesome. I would not be surprised if you see Albert Pujols ramping up and getting like starts every game.
If I'm Albert Pujols, I am taking roids
Right now?
right now.
All right, fair enough. Hey, they're not checking him probably. That guy's old.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for hanging out with us this week, especially guys. Be looking out for us on Twitter for those posts that we're going to be making about the college football playoffs. Happy college football is officially really back. Everybody's playing for the first time. Not week 0 action, week 1 official action. And then basically next week, we will be our last podcast without NFL season.
So
The first game starts Thursday,
it'll
right?
be the day after our next pod is recorded.
Right, so we record on Wednesday. The first game's Thursday, right?
Yep. So it'll be the
Okay,
day
so
after.
the day after. So our next pod we record will be the last pod we have without college football, without NFL
It'll be
and
the
college
last
football
until February.
until
brother.
February. So hey, congratulations to
To
us.
us.
We made it.
Hey,
We
round of
made it.
applause.
Hey,
We made it. The longest off season is college football, and we made it.
So shout out to all your college football teams. Wish them good luck. And shout out for your baseball teams, wrapping them up as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. John, you got anything to say to people before we let them go?
I love you, football.
I love you, football. Ryan, you got anything to say to people before we let them go?
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. And the only thing I got to say is Justin Verlander should be AL MVP. That's all I got to say. Stick with it. Stick with us. We appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with us. We love you. We'll see you next time. Peace.